Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and what a week it has been. 9 new e-bikes, they're all killer, no fillers in this list, and they've all got the brand new Bosch Gen 5 motor. So let's check them out. And if you're interested in a deep dive of the Bosch CX Gen 5 motor, well, smash the subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because I'm right in the middle of my review, going to be dropping it in the next couple of weeks. But the cliff notes, it's smaller, it's lighter, it makes less noise going up, and it has no rattle going down. But it has stayed to the 85 newton-meters of torque and the 600 watts of peak power, so no increase of power there. But riders, stay on to the end of the video, because I might have some juicy goss on the motor and system for you legends. Okay, now onto the bikes. First up, we got the Santa Cruz Vala, which looks awesome. It's rolling on mullet wheels. We got 160 at the front, 150 in the rear. It's obviously got the new Gen 5 motor, and all of the bikes in this list do have that motor, so I won't mention it going on to the next bikes. We have a 600 watt-hour internal battery. You can also get a 250 watt-hour range extender. It's coming in impressive 5 sizes, and starting from 21.5 kilos, and prices are coming in around 8,000 euros. So what do I think? Well, first off, I'm stoked to see the new Schwalbe radial Magic Mary tires have made it on the bike. That's awesome. I think that might be a first for Santa Cruz stocking Schwalbe tires on their bike. They're normally Maxxis. And that is a big shout out to Schwalbe, because I've been testing the radials in the Alberts. They absolutely rock. I've got the Magic Marys coming, I'll let you know. And also you would notice that this is the first Santa Cruz bike, I believe, that's not running a VPP for a long time. I think that's okay. It's a standard 4-bar, but definitely the engineers at Santa Cruz know what they're doing. I'm sure this bike would absolutely rip. And the reason why they're not putting a VPP in this bike is because they said the actual mounting points of the suspension were right in the way of the motor, and they thought it was better to go this. I think it's going to be a killer bike, and riders, fingers crossed, it might be coming to Sam's Bikes for a test. Next up, we got the brand new Trek Rail, which is rolling on mullets. We got 160, 150. It's got an 800 watt-hour removable battery. It's going to be available in 4 sizes, and prices starting from 5,499 euros. I'm loving the look of the new Rail. The Rail is a hugely popular bike worldwide. I have ridden and tested it probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago as a straight 29er. I always thought it would be probably better as a mullet, so it's great to see. Great overall looking bike and good pricing. And number 3, the brand new, released today, if we get the video out, the Orbea Wild. So it's rolling on 29s, all mullet compatible, and I believe you can order that off the website as a mullet or a 29er, which is great. Suspension 170, 170, so they've gone up in the rear by 10. Obviously the Bosch Gen 5 motor. It's available with a 600 or a 750 watt-hour battery. That's internal, and you can also get the 250 watt-hour range extender. Weight is not available, but I believe it's going to come in around 21 to 23 kilos. Available in 4 sizes and starting from 6,499 euros. I think the Orbea Wild was a fantastic bike, the older version, and this one looks even better. I'm loving they've gone up and travel at the back, so this is a big bike now, 170, 170. I'm also loving it's gone to a mullet. I actually think bigger, like enduro bikes are better as a mullet, so it's great to see you can spec that off the website. Great overall package. And before we crack on with the next bike, a massive shout out to Topeak, the long-term sponsor at Sam's Bikes. Without Topeak, Sam's Bikes does not exist, full stop. So massive shout out to Topeak. And over the last couple of months, I've been loving the new Pocket Shock Pump. And why have I been loving it? Well, if you're a fan of the channel, you'd know I'm an absolute geek for setup and suspension. So with this shock pump, you have like a 2-stage connection, so you can really get, like if you want 72.5 PSI, you can get it and guarantee you get it. Because you know when you take off like a traditional pump and you hear this ch or ch, sometimes my mind starts going, did I really get all that PSI that I wanted, or did I lose more or less when disconnecting it? So definitely riders, love this product and highly recommend it. And now to number 4, the M1 AM, which I'm actually testing right now with the Gen 5 motor. It's rolling on mullet wheels. You got 160 up front and 160 in the rear. And this is interesting. You can actually spec the AM with either the Gen 5 motor or the SX. And then for batteries, you can spec it with a 400, a 600, or an 800. So you could possibly get a 400 and then add the range extender, and you're getting a super light bike there. The weight is coming in from 18.8 kilos, and I'd imagine that is with the SX and the 400 watt-hour battery. Available in 4 sizes and price starting from 7,499 euros. As I said, riders, I'm testing the M1 at the moment, absolutely loving it, great bike. And you know, I think it's really interesting that they're allowing you to spec the bike how you want it. So you can order this off the website and say, okay, I want the Gen 5 motor and the 400 watt or the 600 watt or the 800 watt hour battery, and they will build it to your specification. I think that's really cool, and I'd like to see more companies do this. And number 5, the new Crestline, rolling on 29ers, all mullet compatible. Suspension, you got 160 at the back or 180. You've obviously got the Gen 5 motor coming with a 600 or an 800 watt hour battery, weight coming in from 21.75, available in 3 sizes and prices starting from 6,499 US dollars for a frame kit and a complete bike, 9,999 US dollars. The Crestline e-bike itself hasn't changed that much, but it didn't need to. It is a fantastic e-bike, probably one of the better ones on the market because you can do so much customization. You can go mullet, you can go 29er, you can go 160 at the back or 180. You can change the chainstay length. You can do so much customization. I love what Troyden's doing at Crestline. I'm also loving that you can just get the frame because there's a lot of guys out there, a lot of riders that are riding bikes with a couple of years old, which have good components, but maybe the battery and the motor's getting a bit dated. So that's great to see. I'm also loving that Gwyn is back racing his Crestline downhill bike. This weekend, he's at Montsanan. Good luck, Gwyn. I'll be watching. And number 6, the Ghost E-Riot. Rolling on mullet wheels, 170 up front, 160 in the rear, an 800 watt-hour battery, weight coming in between 23 and 24, available in 4 sizes and prices starting from 6,999 euros. I think this looks like an interesting bike. I'm also quite interested in that suspension design at the back. It looks a little bit like a VPP or even a Maestro. I'd love to take a closer look at the Ghost kinematics and possibly test it because it does look like a very interesting e-bike. Number 7, the Haibike AllMtn. Rolling on mullet wheels, 160 up front and 150 in the rear. We have an 800 watt-hour battery. Weight is not available, but I'd imagine coming in maybe 24, 25 kilos. Available in 4 sizes and prices are starting from a very respectable 5,000 euros. This looks like a good bike. It looks like a high bike. Doesn't look like a lot has changed, but the price is fantastic at 5,000 euros. And number 8, the Focus Jam Squared. Rolling on 29 wheels, 160 up front, 150 in the rear. Obviously the Gen 5 motor. It's available with a 600 watt-hour battery or an 800, and I believe you can put the range extender on there. Weight coming in from 24.3 kilos, available in 4 sizes, and prices starting from 4,999 euros. I'm loving the look of the new Jam Squared. Great looking bike, great looking frame. It's actually hard to tell it's an aluminium frame, but it is. It's great to see the weight coming down a little bit. So 24 kilos is definitely acceptable. Some of the Focus bikes are 25, 26, so that's great. And the pricing, 5,000 euros starting from. Great price, great looking bike. And number 9, the Sight VLT CX. Now, we don't have a huge amount of detail of this bike because it has been sort of teased, not released. It's coming out early next year, but it's rolling on mullets. We've got 160 at the front, 150 in the rear. It's obviously got the Gen 5 motor, 600 watt-hour battery, weight coming in from 22 to 23 kilos. I think we'll have probably four sizes, and I reckon the prices are going to come in around 7,000 euros entry level. And I'm loving it. It's got a high pivot. I'm loving it. It's also 20% lighter than last year's models because last year's Norcos were on the heavy side. I'm also loving it. It's got the iTrack suspension system. Now, I'm loving it because my mate Hugh in Adelaide from Craftworks designed and licensed that to Norco. Absolute legend. Shout out to you, Hugh. And now, so next year, I'm definitely going to get on the site. I'm definitely going to test it. I'm going to let you riders know. So there you go. What a crazy week. 9 new bikes. They all look awesome. I think my favorite's probably got to be the Santa Cruz. I'd really like to test that because I haven't ridden many Santa Cruzes. So definitely that might be happening. Fingers crossed. Now, what are the juicy rumors I've heard? Well, first off, if we think back to the Gen 4 when it was released, so the Gen 4 was released with 75 Newton meters of torque, and then a couple of months later, it went up to 85. Now, the new Gen 5 has 85. I've heard rumors that that's gonna go up, maybe to 95, maybe to 100, maybe to 105. That's just a rumor I've heard. And I've also heard that we are possibly going to see a race motor released in the near future, which does make sense. And I would say that's definitely going to be in double digits. We're probably going to be 105, 110 Newton meters, somewhere around there. Possibly. This is all speculation, riders. But it's pretty clear to me that Bosch will release a race motor. It makes sense because the Gen 4 was super popular. And we're also definitely going to see some type of touch screen in the downtube. If you have a look at a couple of the bikes that have been released, they've all kind of got like filler plates in the frame. So they're ready, they're already manufactured for that new display to fit in. So we're probably going to get that in the next 6 to 8 months. So that's what I've heard. Anyway, riders, if you were going to pick one of these bikes for you, if there's no budget, just your favorite new bike with the Bosch CX Gen 5 motor, let me know in the comments what it would be. And if you haven't subscribed to Sam's Bikes, please do so. Share it with like-minded people. It really does mean a lot. And you know it. Stay safe out there, and we're going to see you soon.